Hey guys, RC here for the next edition of our Let's Play A Tribe Called SimNation. This is the third episode in our ongoing series, and basically we had just gotten started last episode. We're taking a look in where our setup area. We had started planting some crops. We've got Frankua down here planting away. We've got the wall going up for protection at our southern border, and we are building our first room where we will start getting a stockpile set up in here. You can see we've already got some medicine in here, some wood starting to come in. We are open to the front. This will be something we'll deal with moving forward. The way the game works is it sends varying waves of attackers at you, and they vary on a lot of different things. I don't know what they are because I'm not that familiar with the game, but we've got 3 animals. Remember, we're training our warg to be a hunter, to be attacking with us, and then we've got the 2 huskies that will be haulers and helping us with our physical labor. So let's go ahead and unpause here and get started. You can see RC and Brian in here putting the roof together. And the outer wall's done. What I want to do real quick is I do want to add another wall here, and I want to go with several doors. We'll just do 3 for right now, and then I'm going to take this one out. And the reason I'm doing this is, again, to give us exit out the west side of the map, give us easier access to the farms. Let's see, Redbird's down here cutting some trees down. We do have our stockpile here. I'm going to need to go ahead and order them to cut down all the plants inside here. We don't want grass in our living area and whatnot. And I want to go ahead and get a simple research bench up and running. And this is where the sandbox comes into play. You can move things around. Let's put it right here. And I like to give them a chair of some fashion to sit at while they're working. And I also want to put together a butcher's table. Do that on this side here. And then we're going to go with a fueled stove. Here. And then we can put in 2 chairs. And they go right in the middle. And that allows the worker to sit down while they're working and helps keep them more comfortable. I do want to put a zone outside here. And we're going to put any dead animals. So this will be our primary for animal corpses. And so any animals that we hunt, when they're killed, this is the point they'll be brought back and dropped off. And then they can be brought in and butchered and then cooked. And then over here, we've got all of our food items, weapons, clothing, but no corpses. So right now that should have us set up. You see Redbird doing a little training with one of the dogs. Chris bringing in some stuff, and we're going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit to number 2, speed 2 down here. Alright, so we do need some beds. Let's see, what are we missing on this? We need steel. Okay, so we have not mined any steel yet. Alright, now I can start there. That would be the easiest place. That's slate. Let me see if we have any steel walls. That's limestone. There's a steel wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and order them to deconstruct this. And we're also going to go into the flooring and tell them to remove this flooring, and that'll give us a bunch of steel right there. So remember, we had already set everybody up with work manager last time. We left out a lot of the crafting things. We don't have anything set up right now, so there's no pressing need for that. Looks like a lot of livestock in here that we, a lot of wild game that we can hunt. A couple of bears, so we will have to be careful of that. If you shoot aggressive animals, if they get wounded while you're out just being a big man hunter, then they will attack you. So you have to be careful with that. All right, so our research bench is going in. They've already pulled the wall down, so that's going in. Not enough of it. All right, so let's pause it for a second and see if I can find some more steel. There's a steel wall. There's a steel wall. So we will deconstruct that, and we will remove that flooring as well. And that hopefully gets us going on setting this up. All right, our research bench is ready. Now, I mentioned in the first episode that the research bench, we are very behind from a technological standpoint. We have bows and arrows instead of guns. We don't have electricity yet. That's why we're having to use wood-fired stoves. So once you set up your research bench, you go under your research tab, and basically here's what we know how to make. We can make pemmican, which is a beef jerky, basically. And under the unresearched, you have a few things that we can learn with our basic bench, and then an expanded list of items that we can do with our high-tech bench that comes later. So the first thing we're going to want to do is, I'm going to say electricity. It's going to take a while, but we have plenty of wood for building. I like stone cutting to start building blocks, but when you have a lot of wood, you don't need that as early. Fire is a bigger concern. Of course, stone won't burn. We have plenty of ground to grow crops on, so we don't need soil reclamation. That would be really good for, you could build a stone floor, say in the desert, put that on top of the desert sand, and then you could grow on top of that. So that would be handy there. Smithing allows metal weapons and tools, but this is still Neolithic and medieval. This is still going to be your low-end technology. Advanced cooking gets us our electric stove. Basic managing software. This is something we're going to want to get down the road as well. But right now I think electricity. So we're going to go ahead and start researching that. Now our researcher, if you don't remember, is Chris and Brian. So when they get to that point, they will start going to the research bench and working. And you will see a bar start filling up down here. And when it's finished, then we'll be able to build things like power conducting lines, a freezer, a cooler for food, so we aren't having to live day to day. And speaking of, right now we have 75 pemmican, so that is going to be of urgent importance to be able to actually start making food. Even before killing an animal, we've got to have the butcher table set up. In fact, I'm going to cancel this job for now so they can prioritize that. And I'm going to go ahead and start mining out. Now it looks like the steel goes all the way back into here. At some point I will clear out this side. We can clear out here. Well, we can do one row. I don't want to dig all the way through because then that gives another access point into our home. And right now they'd have to break down the door if we were to hide inside. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to level 3 while they're sleeping. Nobody's doing much of anything. So we'll go ahead and pick up the pace a little bit. And Brian's up and about. Looks like he was checking out the chair. RC's eating some pemmican. He's looking at the chair. So, well, the chair's the best looking thing that they've got right there. So they're checking that out and moving along. Looks like they're coming up and starting to work on... Oh, here they are. Alright, let's see. RC's taken off to go build a roof, but I want them to bring some steel back to camp. Brian grabs some as well. And what that does is it gets it into our stockpile and allows us to get moving from that point, that we can actually use it. There's another steel wall. So we're going to deconstruct that, and we're going to remove the floor in here as well. Alright, I paused the game. We just had an event happen. A psychic drone. Every colonist of the female gender winces in pain. So this is some AI out in the universe that sends out this signal that only the male or female species can hear, and it gives them a negative. So if we look, for example, at Frankua, female, if we go under needs, they have a psychic drone which gives her a -15, hearing voices basically. So you see their positives, their negatives. These 3 lines on their mood chart are the points that they could have a break, mental breakdown of some sort, and the arrow is where they're currently at, so we're trending downward. Food, rest, joy, beauty, those are all going down. Comfort is non-existent, sleeping on the floor and whatnot. So we are going to have to prioritize getting a bedroom set up and then eventually working on separate bedrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do a wall. Let's see, I'm mining here, so let's go ahead and come across. And I'm going to go ahead and start building my my trap area. So let's go ahead and remove that, and then we'll put doors in here and here. Alright, that'll be good. Alright, so basically our people will use the doors, but the doors will be locked to any invaders, so they will have to come down the hall, and eventually we will have traps in the hallway. Eventually. So I'm not worried about the psychic drone anymore. I know about it. I am going to build... out in our courtyard here, maybe right... that's our animal stockpile, so maybe right over here. We'll stick up a horseshoe pin, and they can go out there and toss horseshoes and you know, get some joy to help beef that up. So that gives them enough to do. We're going to keep it on level 3, moving forward here a little bit. Chris is in eating. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's my warg. He's killing a hare and eating it. Alright, so the crops are all growing. So we've got, let's see, our strawberries. We've got some potatoes, cotton, which will help us make clothes later on, rice, corn. So we've got 3 food groups, and then we've got the cotton, and then heel root, which will be our medication, our medicine for any injuries. They're going to have to probably sleep on the floor for a couple more nights. Oh, there's our workbench for our butcher's table. Now, whenever you set up a production bench, you have to go in and set your bills. So there's different bills you can add. On this one, we're going to make kibble and butcher creatures. Now, kibble is dog food, cat food, things of that nature. So we want to do this. We don't want a ton of it because it does use our food. It uses two separate ingredients, one meat and one vegetable. So we're going to do this until we have 60, and that will be enough for a little while. And then butcher creature, we're going to do that forever. So anytime an animal is killed, we bring it to our stockpile, then they will butcher it. So now that that's done, we are going to come in and do our stove, which we were going to put right here. And then that should allow them to get started on that. Alright, so a couple more events. So I've paused it just to kind of go over this. The flash storms, these are thunderstorms with a lot of lightning hitting in a small area, and they cause fires. Fires are very bad. There's a fire, and you'll notice right now it's just the flash storm. It's not a rainstorm. So we're going to have to make this part of our zone, our home area, and that triggers an alert. If you don't catch this and there's no rain, of course the fire is going to spread. We're pretty close to this danger area that we had talked about a couple episodes, the first or second episode. Oh, there's another one down here. Now, eventually it should start raining, and that'll help extinguish the flames, but here in the early going, we've got to deal with this ourselves. So, looks like Frankua and Chris well, there's Brian putting out some fire. Here comes Redbird to help out. Now the problem is there's a lot of them. Okay, let me pause it here real quick. And I'm going to have to expand our home area. Over all this. Now according to our work schedule, we have 4 firefighters. So we've got Frankua, Redbird. What's Brian doing? Brian is beating a fire out. Okay. Redbird's there. Frankua's there. And Chris is there. So there's all 4 of them right here. All right. The other thing we have is we had cargo pods. In the default version of the game, you are survivors from a space crash, spaceship explosion in outer space. So every once in a while, that has still happened concurrent to our playthrough with the tribe members. So every once in a while, you'll have these chunks of spacecraft, this steel, fall to Earth, and it'll have people with it, food, different things. So we're going to highlight those and unforbid them so we can carry those in. I'm not going to worry about the steel right now. We'll get that at another time. And then we have visitors. So they're blue, so that means they are friendly. If they were red, they would be enemies. If they were trading, they would have a yellow question mark over their head. So they're not looking to trade anything. And right now, we honestly don't have too much time to deal with them anyway. We need to get these fires put out quickly before they spread. And it's clear, so there's no rain. So you can see how the fires are starting to spread. These are going to get really ugly if we don't get them put out. The ibex doe was injured. I don't know if you saw that it was on fire. And they are leaving that little part. So let me... Alright. A mad animal. As if we don't have enough going on. So we have a rat right there. And he is mad. So we're going to mark him to hunt. And we're going to trigger our people with weapons to attack whenever they're confronted. RC can't do anything, so we're going to leave, as far as fighting, so we're going to leave him as running away when he gets hurt. He does have a club, so he will attack. I'd rather him not attack, so let's leave him fleeing. She's got a bow and arrow, so she'll attack. And Chris had a spear, so that's good. And where is he in relation to us? Off to the west and the south of our firefighters. So we will have to be aware of it. I'm wondering... Oh, that's all part of that area. There's just so much going on, they can't cover it all. And you can see how quickly this has just gotten out of hand. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it for a second. I'm going to clear the home area. Let's see. Alright, let's come and delete. That's all moving away from us. So let's give, and I need to expand over here because it's gotten past us. So I want to focus mainly on what's coming towards our living area. This is going to, eventually burn itself out. When this fire reaches this burned out part, it's going to stop. Same right here, and at the edge of the map, I'm not worried about it, and it can go as far north as it wants. So we're going to just ignore that, but work on this area coming towards our house, our living area. And hopefully we can get that under control. One of these items that we just don't need. Let's see, RC's removing the floor. So even though he can't fight, and let's go ahead and have him haul the steel back from this floor. And then he'll go back and start working on another section. Uh-oh. Priscilla and Fleming both caught on fire trying to work through, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to restrict RC to Area 1. I'm going to have to go back and set that up because I don't want him to catch on fire. Excuse me. Alright, so Area 1 is basically going to be inside of our compound here. And if we go back up, we're going to draft him to cancel his order and get him to go back to the house. Yeah, not good for Fleming. Fleming has died. So we're going to mark his stuff. If there's anything left. Looks like Priscilla made it off the map. The food's on fire. His body's burning up. His body is now gone. The silver's not destroyed, so that's good. Alright. Chris and Brian Schwartz are exhausted. I don't have beds for them. Let me do this. I'm going to put in just a sleeping spot. So we're going to turn this. We're going to put one here, 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 here. That's 5 of us. All right. And just try to keep track of everything. So let's see, I believe we are out of pemmican, which means we have got to hunt something here real quick. Okay, we need to, our stove is built, so we're going to add a bill for pemmican and simple meals. Pemmican I want to keep maybe 50 on hand. And simple meals we will do forever as a secondary. And let's see, our main cook has a skill of 10 and 6. So we want to come back into here and we want to make sure that for the details that we have a minimum of 6 working on that. Alright, we've gone over our time here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and we will continue with the tribe from SimNation in our next episode. Thank you very much, and see you next time.